Why do men ghost? And why was he so interested in the beginning and suddenly started to lose interest? Well, you might hate the answer, but it's going to save you months, if not years, worrying about this guy. So, is it because he's not attracted to you anymore? No. Is it because he's just so busy at work? Hell no. No man is too busy to see the woman he likes. I don't care if he's the president of the United States. And heck, some of those guys, they got in trouble for that anyway. So you definitely know it ain't that. So why did he go from texting you constantly to barely responding? From planning dates to planning excuses? The real reason he goes ghost is actually much deeper than most people realize. And honestly, it's going to piss you off. But I need you to watch this entire video so that you never fall for this mistake again. But if you're feeling him pull away and wondering, what did I do wrong? Why did this guy that I really like, why did he just go away? I'm about to tell you exactly why it happens and why it could get worse. So here's what nobody wants to admit. Most men who ghost, they were really never interested at all. And I know that sounds harsh, but stick with me because I do have good news later on in this video. You want to think about guys that ghost. They're kind of like Netflix subscriptions. When you sign up for the free trial, you're not committing to the subscription. This is how he's viewing the relationship. He's like, I'm going to just sample the content. He signs up, he binge watches, he tries to get to the nice parts as soon as possible for the trial ends. Before you catch on, you're like, oh no, she's trying to define the relationship. But deep down, he already knows that he's planning to leave the second the trial ends. And that's exactly what happened to you. He wasn't dating you. He was on the free trial plan. The texts, the dates, the attention, all real. But what he was is he was sampling what he felt, not building towards an actual future. And here's the part that's really going to sting. And just like Netflix, he probably knew from week one he wasn't really planning on subscribing, and then he was just enjoying the free content while it lasted. So let me break down and let me get the drawing here so I can break down the 3 types of guys that you need to watch out for. So let's go with number 1, the validation seeker. And this guy, we don't like this guy at all. So this guy is using you like a human confidence boost. Maybe his ex just destroyed his ego. Maybe he just got through a rough patch, or maybe he just craves the ego boost of having a woman with him. He's addicted to the chase and the validation that comes with it. This is kind of the player archetype. This is somebody that just like, they're like, oh, I just need a little shot of validation. And the second you start reciprocating their interest, the second, especially after you get intimate, that his brain crashes hard. He's like, I conquered her. I did it. I won the game. This is the guy. He's the ultimate player. He's always in the chase. He's like gonna be the best guy for the first like 3 dates until he closes the deal, and then he's running out of here. I wish I could have I'm gonna put some running shoes on him. And he's addicted to the chase and the validation that comes with it. And the second you start reciprocating his interest, his brain crashes harder than your motivation on a Monday morning. He's got what he came for, and he's got the proof that he's like, yeah, I still got it. Old Jackie boy still got it in him. And these men, they need the uncertainty. They're addicted to the chase. They're thrill seekers. Thrill? How do you even spell thrill? Whatever. I suck at spelling in English. They're thrill seekers. And these guys, they are just always on the hunt. And when they finally get you, they're like, mission accomplished. We're good to go here. Now let's go into guy number 2. Let's go into the option collector. I call this the buffet guy too. Number 2 is the option collector. Option collector. Most people say I have one of the best voices and my drawings are impeccable. So let's talk about the option collector. And you might already have a guess as to what this kind of person is. And thanks to the dating app, this person has become way more prevalent. This guy suffers from what I call buffet syndrome. You know it when you go to a buffet, you see endless options. You're like, ooh. Or even when you go to just like the regular store, right? You see like 14 different kinds of ketchups and you're like, well, that's a lot. If they only had 2 brands, it would be much easier to choose. And this guy cannot commit for the life of him because he's just like, what if there's somebody better? Oh, and that's his entire philosophy. He's not necessarily malicious. He is just literally like, let me see if I can get a little brain thing. He's like overloaded. He's like drunk on options. Let me get a brain up in here. Oh, do I really not have a brain? We're gonna say this is a brain. Oh, here we go. We got one. Don't worry, guys. I got stickers for days. I love me some stickers. All right, so we got a brain here, and that is like just addicted to like the love cocktail. He's like, oh my gosh, there's always more. There's more options, more. So a little bit different than the validation seeker that just kind of like needs to win and constantly like, it's almost like addicted to just the chase. The option collector is kind of they're always just enjoying their time, and there's this voice in their head being like, but what if there was more? What if there was more out there? But what if? We call them like the maximalizers. They have a very difficult time settling down because they're always constantly looking for like, oh, but that last girl, she had this like one other trait. Very difficult people to settle down with. And they don't necessarily ghost because they're bad people. Oftentimes, they're just kind of too cowardly to break it. So let's talk about one of the other most common options, and this is the third person. This is the X comes back. The X is back in town. X is back in town. Came back. The X came back. You know, it is what it is. And this one, it hurts. He was genuinely interested in you. Everything felt promising. And then his ex decided she wanted him back. Or maybe she just posted a thirst trap on Instagram and he suddenly started reminiscing about the good old times. You weren't necessarily his rebound. You're kind of a bridge. He wasn't necessarily using you, but he didn't see it at the time. You really just can't anticipate. You kind of lost the game. You know, she has more emotional connection with him than you. And likely, he never really even felt like he was using you in the first place. He never really realized he was fully unemotionally available. He didn't do the healing. Truthfully, you kind of were the healing. So it's a tough thing. And in his mind, he was moving on, and you just happened to be the collateral damage of when his real thoughts surfaced. Now that we know the psychology, how do we weed these guys out? How do we know whether they're here for just the free trial or they're actually interested? So let's talk about, some warning signs. Number one is love bombing. Love bombing is huge. So this is really what you're going to see from that like validation seeker, kind of like the player archetype. They are really trying to go to the fun part. So there's about two tactics that you'll see. So one is going to be a marathon date. Marathon date. Sounds interesting, right? Although I never fully understood why people do marathons. It's like, you're running that much? It sounds horrible to me, but I get it. People are runners, so this does make sense to me. And so this is like, let's say a usual day is like 1.5 hours, right? Sounds reasonable enough. But what they do is they do like a 6-hour date. Now, they don't really tell you it's going to be a 6-hour date, but what they're doing is they'll take you from this location. So it'll be like Loc 1 to location 2, bar 2 to ice cream shop 3. And it all seems very fun and spontaneous, but they actually plan all these things out in advance. So you got to watch out for these dates that just extend, because they'll be like, oh, wow, this guy likes me so much. He wants to spend so many hours with me. But really, all he was trying to do was just close the deal early. So that's one love bombing technique. And then another is very similar to the marathon date. And it's if he doesn't essentially close on the first date, what he's going to do is going to be, oh my God, I was so close. I was just there. If I could just get her on another date. What he'll do is he will call, and that's what I call date stacking. Date stacking. Is he will try to schedule another date ASAP. So you're like, oh my gosh, this guy like really likes me. Really likes me. But he doesn't. What he's trying to do is he's just trying to close the intimacy deal. He's really focused on his ROI. He's like, man, if I could just get this done in 2 dates. And this is why one of the most important things in getting ghosted, it doesn't necessarily prevent getting ghosted, but it does weed out guys very quickly. And it is extending the intimacy timeline. So plus five dates until you guys get intimate. I know, you hate to hear it. It's tough, but you have to extend this timeline because a lot of guys, they're familiar with this 3-date rule, right? They're familiar with the idea that like, oh, usually on the 3rd date, she gonna do it. But you don't want to be that girl. You don't want to be 3-date girl. Heck, you definitely don't want to be 1-date girl, and you definitely don't want to be 2-date girl. Because a lot of guys, when they get something very easily, they're like, mission accomplished, I'm out of here. Most guys that are only interested in like the ghost, the accomplishment and bouncing, they ain't gonna wait 5 dates. And use this as a rough estimate. If you don't feel right about it, if you're feeling still a little bit uncomfortable, don't even do 5 dates. Extend it out. Extend out the time horizon, right? Because that is going to weed out the time wasters. The time wasters. They're going to get out of here. And yeah, you might get ghosted, but you'll know you didn't give up something that you really wanted to, and you won't feel used as much. All right, so some of the warning signs. We talked about love bombing. A big one is he integrating you into his life? Integrating into his life. So if all the conversations you have are very surface level, you don't know about his goals, you don't know about his passions, you don't know about his hobbies, and you don't really see that there's a path forward for you guys actually being together, it's very likely that he's going to ghost you because he has no social repercussion. So this leads into a very important point. It's kind of like, how did you meet this guy, right? How did you meet him? Because if you met him on a dating app, what are the social ties he has? Let's say you guys are just like, this is you, and this is him, right? The only connection you two have is yourselves. So if he ghosts you, right, there's no social accountability structure. There's no social accountability here. So one of the easiest ways to prevent getting ghosted is actually just to get an introduction from a friend. I know, it's tough to leave the apartment, but we have to prioritize meeting some people IRL, because let's say your friend Kathy, Kathy intros you to Jared. We'll call him Jared. And this is you down here. You. I'll put a you here. Now, he's accountable to Kathy, because if he ghosts you and he becomes an absolute rascal, you're going to go to Kathy and you're going to be like, yo, what happened with Jared? So he's going to be way more hesitant to do any kind of ghosting situation if you have some kind of integration. And this is why I talk a lot about, like, hey, is he integrating you into his life? How did you even meet this guy in the first place? Because if you met him just randomly on a dating app, man, this guy has no connection to you and he can so easily go ghost. Now, let's be honest. The guys that ghost you, they were never really planning to keep you anyway. And I know that feels hard to say. And your job isn't to convince someone to choose you. It's to recognize when somebody is wasting your time and to protect your energy accordingly.